You're scrolling through a feed, or you hear the news from a friend, and a familiar, quiet poison seeps into your day. Someone you know has achieved something significant. A promotion, a successful project launch, a seemingly perfect family vacation. An immediate, often unconscious, comparison ignites. That sharp pang you feel is envy, and it leaves a residue of inadequacy, resentment, or a hollow sense of being left behind. This is not a moral failing, it is a deeply ingrained neurological and evolutionary response. Your nervous system, hardwired for social comparison as a survival mechanism, interprets this external win as a potential threat to your own status and resources. Your amygdala, the brain's threat detector, fires a signal. In response, your adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline, the hormones of the stress response. Your heart rate might quicken, your focus narrows, and your mind begins to ruminate. It's an automatic, corrosive loop that depletes your finite reserves of energy, shrinks your perspective, and changes your well-being to the actions of others. Social media algorithms are engineered to perfection to exploit this very mechanism, creating a volatile cycle of dopamine seeking that inevitably crashes into the wall of comparison. The Stoics, however, saw this trap 2,000 years ago and forged a key to escape it. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of antiquity's most formidable philosophers, offers a radical reframe. He states, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid regarding external things. This isn't a call to ignorance. It is a precise surgical instruction for your attention. Epictetus understood that true value, the only ground upon which you can build an unshakable inner peace, lies not in what others possess or achieve, but in the integrity and virtue of your own choices and actions, the domain entirely within your control. Worrying about another person's promotion is as illogical to a Stoic as worrying about the weather. Both are external, and your emotional turmoil changes neither. To break this neurological cycle of self-sabotage, you must install a new cognitive habit. We will call this the Success Prism micro method. It's a tool for redirecting the light of another's achievement. Instead of letting it shine on your own perceived shortcomings, you use it to illuminate the path forward. When you observe someone's success and feel that initial sting, pause. Take one deliberate breath. Then, instead of a direct comparison, you will filter the information through a critical question. What specific or led to their result that are within sphere of influence? This is not a single simple question. It is a diagnostic tool. First, you ask, what is on display here? Is it their relentless discipline? Their courage to take a calculated risk? Their patience and persistence through years of unseen effort? Their ability to communicate with clarity and kindness? Name the virtue. Second, you ask, what, if I adopted it, would cultivate that same virtue in me? Notice the critical distinction. You are not aiming for their outcome, the promotion, the award, the public recognition. That is external and not yours to command. You are aiming for the internal quality that produced it. The goal is not their job title, it is their work ethic. The goal is not their finished painting, it is their commitment to show up at the canvas every morning. This deliberate reframing is a direct application of cognitive behavioral therapy, specifically a technique known as cognitive restructuring. The automatic negative thought is, their success proves my failure. This is a cognitive distortion. The Success Prism helps you challenge and replace it with a rational, empowering thought. Their success reveals a virtue I can practice. It provides a blueprint for my own efforts. By identifying the underlying qualities, you transform a trigger for self-doubt into a lesson plan for your own development. You are no longer comparing, you are. You are no longer a passive, resentful observer. You are an active student of excellence. The neurological effect is profound. This conscious intervention interrupts the amygdala's hijacking of your emotional state. It engages your prefrontal cortex, the seat of rational thought, and shifts you from a fight-or-flight response to a learn and grow mindset. You are telling your brain that this is not a threat, but an opportunity. The cortisol drip slows and your focus returns to what you can actually do. Your work for today is simple but transformative. The very next time you feel that familiar pang of envy, whether it's from a social media post, an email, or a conversation, do not suppress it. Acknowledge it, then immediately apply the success prism. Pause, identify the virtue, and define one small action you can take to cultivate it. You will feel a measurable shift from corrosive envy to mobilized inspiration, lowering your anxiety and sharpening your focus on what truly matters, your own virtuous action. From that initial, powerful reframing of a single trigger, the next step is to build a resilient internal framework that makes you less susceptible to the constant barrage of external comparison in the first place. The success prism is an excellent emergency tool, a way to process envy in the moment it strikes. But a truly Stoic practice involves engineering your mind so that those moments become increasingly rare and less potent. The chronic underlying issue is a reliance on external validation. We live in a world that trains us from birth to measure our worth by metrics we do not control. Grades, job titles, salaries, social media likes, the approval of our peers. This outsourcing of our self-esteem creates a state of perpetual anxiety because the source of our well-being is fundamentally unstable and outside of our command. You become a ship without a rudder, tossed about by the changing winds of public opinion and the achievements of others. The Stoics offered a profound alternative, the development of an inner scorecard. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a dedicated Stoic, constantly reminded himself in his private journals, the Meditations, to return his focus inward. He wrote, "The tranquility that comes when you stop caring what they say, or think, or do, only what you do." This is the core principle of the inner scorecard. It is a conscious decision to be judged not by a jury of your peers, but by the standards you set for your own character. Seneca, another leading Stoic voice, emphasized living in accordance with your own nature, not in reaction to the expectations of the crowd. He argued that the person who seeks applause has placed their happiness in the hands of others. The person who seeks virtue, however, finds a source of contentment that can never be taken away. The practice, then, is to build and maintain your own inner scorecard. This is a daily ritual, a mental or physical journaling exercise that fundamentally reorients your definition of a successful day. It consists of 3 distinct steps. First, you must define your virtues. What qualities in your most rational and calm moments do you deem most important for a well-lived life? These are your North Stars. Choose 3 to 5. They might be integrity, discipline, kindness, courage, wisdom, or justice. Be specific. Discipline, for example, might mean for you the ability to do what I said I would do long after the mood I set it in has left. Write these down. These are the only categories on your new scorecard. Second, you must translate these virtues into process-based goals. Our default goals are almost always outcome-based. Get the promotion, lose 20 pounds, earn a certain amount of money. The Stoic recognizes these outcomes are not fully in our control. You can do everything right and still not get the promotion due to company restructuring. You can follow a diet perfectly and have your weight stall due to hormonal factors. Chasing outcomes you don't command is a recipe for frustration. Instead, you focus exclusively on the process. Your goal is not get the promotion, but dedicate 1 hour of uninterrupted deep work to my most important project every single day. Your goal is not lose 20 pounds, but move my body for 30 minutes and eat whole foods at every meal. Notice the shift. Every single one of these process-based goals is 100% within your control. Success is no longer determined by the result, but by your effort and adherence to your own plan. The final step is the evening audit. This is a practice inspired by Seneca, who would review his day each night before sleep. Look at your list of virtues and your process-based goals. Your scorecard has one question: did I live up to my own standards today? Did you act with integrity in a difficult conversation? Did you maintain your discipline when you felt lazy? Did you choose kindness when it would have been easier to be dismissive? You are the sole judge. This isn't about harsh self-criticism, but about honest assessment. This daily ritual has a profound effect on your brain's reward system. Modern neuroscience shows that relying on external validation creates a dependency on unpredictable dopamine hits, similar to a gambling addiction. The inner scorecard rewires this system. It cultivates an internal locus of control, a psychological concept strongly correlated with lower rates of depression, anxiety, and stress. You begin to source your satisfaction not from the unpredictable praise of others, but from the steady, reliable act of meeting your own commitments. This practice strengthens the executive functions of your prefrontal cortex, giving you greater top-down control over the reactive emotional impulses of the amygdala. You are, in a very real sense, building a mental citadel. By building and consulting this inner scorecard daily, you are constructing a fortress of self-worth that is immune to the envy-inducing successes of the outside world. But what do you do in those moments when, despite your best efforts, envy still finds a crack and breaches the walls? Even with a strong inner scorecard and a well-practiced success prism, the sting of a specific, sharp comparison can still arise. You are human, and these neurological pathways are ancient and deep. The final practice, therefore, is not about building higher walls, but about transforming the very energy of that invasive emotion the moment it appears. It addresses the lingering feeling of bitterness or unfairness, the quiet, painful whisper of, "What about me?" that can persist even after you have intellectually reframed the situation. This is where we move from cognitive strategy to a deeper, more embodied Stoic practice of attention and perspective. The Stoics had a word for this. It means the practice of continuous, vigilant attention to one's own mind, thoughts, and impressions. It is the art of being a watchful gatekeeper of your consciousness, examining every thought that seeks entry and deciding whether it is helpful or harmful. When envy enters, your first duty as the gatekeeper is not to fight it, but to observe it without judgment. Acknowledging the feeling, there is envy, robs it of its unconscious power. But the Stoics went a step further, urging us to cultivate a sense of hanamia, the profound understanding that all things are interconnected, part of a single cosmic whole. From this perspective, another person's success is not a loss for you. It is not a piece of a finite pie that they have taken, leaving less for you. It is a success within the human community of which you are an integral part. Seneca wrote beautifully on this topic, advising his friend Lucilius to rejoice in the good fortune of others as if it were his own. He understood that envy isolates while shared joy connects. To feel joy at another's success is to expand your own capacity for happiness exponentially. It is to detach your well-being from the narrow confines of your own ego and connect it to the broader flourishing of the world. The actionable method here is a two-part practice we can call the mudita reframe and the gratitude audit. The first part is inspired by a concept from Buddhist philosophy which has powerful parallels with Stoicism, mudita, or sympathetic joy. It is the radical act of finding joy in the happiness and success of others. When that feeling of envy strikes, and you have already applied the success prism, the next step is to actively, consciously wish the other person well. It will feel counterintuitive, like pouring water on a fire you want to stoke. Do it anyway. Verbally or internally, form the sentence, "May they continue to succeed. May their work bring them fulfillment and benefit others." This is a powerful form of cognitive and emotional aikido. You are not resisting the negative energy, you are meeting it and redirecting it into a positive channel. Envy thrives on a narrative of scarcity and opposition. By introducing a narrative of goodwill and abundance, you starve the negative emotion of its fuel. Neurologically, this practice helps to short-circuit the brain's threat response. Instead of activating circuits of social rivalry, you are intentionally activating pathways associated with empathy and connection, which can stimulate the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone, directly counteracting the isolating effects of cortisol. Immediately following the mudita reframe, you perform the second step, the gratitude audit. This re-anchors you in your own reality. Envy works by creating a laser focus on what you lack. The gratitude audit instantly widens that aperture. Ask yourself, what are 3 things I possess right now that are invaluable and independent of this external achievement? Do not list your own achievements. Focus on your unchanging assets, your health, however it may be today, your ability to reason and to learn, the presence of a loved one, the simple, miraculous fact of your own consciousness, the air you are breathing. This rapid, specific inventory of your own non-competitive blessings shrinks the perceived importance of the thing you just envied. It recalibrates your perspective, reminding you that your life is already rich with treasures that no promotion or award can grant. Neuroscience research has consistently shown that regular gratitude practice has profound effects on the brain. MRI studies reveal that it strengthens neural circuits in the medial prefrontal cortex, areas associated with positive emotion, empathy, and value judgment. You are literally rewiring your brain to seek and appreciate abundance, making it a less fertile ground for the seeds of scarcity and envy. By neutralizing the initial trigger with the success prism, building long-term resilience with the inner scorecard, and transforming any lingering emotion with the dual practice of attentive gratitude and sympathetic joy, you complete the Stoic circuit. You reclaim your focus, your energy, and your peace. The success of others is no longer a mirror reflecting what you lack, but a lighthouse illuminating virtues and strategies that can guide you toward your own best self. Your work is not to have what they have, but to be who you are, with excellence, with purpose, and with an unshakable inner calm.